Hi, it's Vex, and today we'll be discussing the controversial topic of hybrid mana in EDH and essentially changing the rule to allow hybrid mana, such as Kitchen Sphinx, to work in a mono white or mono green deck or a Celestia deck, green white deck. And the reasons why this just won't easily work. It's been a very hot topic of the community lately, and I want to weigh in and actually show you physical cards and my reasoning, my in-depth reasoning, why whatever solution the rules committee comes up with is just not going to be an elegant solution. This is a very simple card here. As you can see, it's just one Celestia. Gets you a Kitchen Sphinx. Very famous card in the history of Magic. But I'm going to give you more nitty-gritty examples, because this is a very easy example to see that this could fit in mono white, mono green, or Celestia deck. First, let's just talk about an excerpt from Mark Rosewater. I'll put below. He says, here's a problem. Commander's take on hybrid contradicts the design function of it. Hybrid is specifically designed to be used in monocolored decks. Companion, as an example, was designed to be used in monocolored decks. I get it. It's also multicolored, but that's a byproduct. The example Rosewater is giving is companions, but I don't have one with you. This is essentially close enough. And it's easy because companions are super easy. You have one colorless or generic plus a hybrid of two colors, right? It gets much more complicated once you get to, let's say, Reaper King. What do you do with that? Or Dagathar. What do you do with that when you have a solid color here, but different color hybrids? So we'll get into that. I just want to say what Commander has done so far is essentially simplify the rules over the years. They've gotten rid of banned as Commander, color production, where you can only produce your general's colors, removal of Commander tucking, so you can always put your Commander in command zone from any other zone, death triggers. People thought Commanders died instead of just getting put into the command zone instead of dying, so that changes. So essentially, the rules committee has simplified Commander, so there's less confusion, because a lot of new players play Commander. And changing this hybrid mana rule would essentially be extremely confusing. This card is confusing. It's not confusing to franchise players who want to change the rule, but it's still confusing to new players. And a lot of new players come into Magic via Commander now. So we want a game that's easy for new players to understand, but still deep and complex for the enfranchised players to enjoy. So let me try my best to come up with the new color identity rules that would allow hybrid mana to work. But before we do that, we will display on the screen again the existing rule. The existing rule states that the color identity of a card is the color or colors of any mana symbols on that card's mana cost or rule text, plus any colors defined by its characteristic defining abilities or color indicator. Characteristic defining ability says if there's a thing that says this card's green, that would make it green, even though it might not have any green symbols on it. So again, I'm not a rules judge, but let me try to alter this rule to allow hybrid mana to work as the public wants it to work. So my change would be the same rule, except for, in addition, this extra paragraph. The color of a mana symbol with more than one color is defined by choice of either color or combination of colors. That's it. That's one sentence that will allow this card to work as a mono green card, a mono white card, or a green white card. So it allows all three combinations to work, which is crazy, with just that one sentence. Again, I'm not a rules judge. This might be the correct way to go with this card here, Reaper King. We're going to come back to this, right? Reaper King, Beseech the Queen. We're going to come back to these cards. These cards are a little more complex because they could be colorless or black. So Beseech the Queen, essentially a colorless card, can be run any deck you want, even co-select deck, if you abide by that rule. So let's just pretend these cards don't exist for this example, because this would be kind of crazy if you consider this a colorless card as well. Reaper King has all 5 colors in it. So we're going to put these aside for now. Pretend they don't exist. So that's how we get what we want. Right? Then there is this card that complicates things, as I showed earlier. Dagathar. I have him in my Abzan deck right now because that's how color identity works. But if we change the rule, he's white, but he's also Golgari, one Golgari mana. So has to be white and black Orzhov, or white and green Selesnya, or white, black, and green Abzan. So he fits into 3 different color identity sets: white, black, white, green, or white, black, and green. Right, so that gets a little. That's one stage 1 of confusion. Right. There's another interesting card here, Thopter Foundry, which is blue, always blue, blue white, or blue black, or blue black and white Esper. So again, this one takes a little thinking on how this works. So does this right here. So the interesting part is Mark Rosewater says, Spirit, these are made to be in monocolored decks, but guess what? This one, can be put in a monocolored deck. Selesnya Guildmage from the original Ravnica. Costs 2 Selesnya hybrids. And let's say it goes in a mono green deck, you can only pay the green part, right? But with the color identity, this has to be a Selesnya card, even with the new rule, because it has a green and a white mana symbol. The funny part is, if that's true, then why did they make this card? Conclave Guildmage. It's essentially almost the same kind of card, because they're both Guild Mages, but this one's a gold card and this one's a hybrid card. Then they made Vitu-Ghazi Guildmage. Gotta have all the Guild Mages in one, which now has double colored activations. So as you can see, they're all Guild Mages. They're all green, white. One just costs hybrid. One just is a gold card, costs 1 of each color. So it's interesting, this goes in a monocolored deck, but it's got almost the same philosophy as this card, So what's the design difference? Why wouldn't this be hybrid? I feel like it's just a aesthetic choice at this point. This makes more sense as being a 2-color because it has 2 color activations here. But as you can see, that's an example there. There's other cards like Ishkana right here, right? This is a Golgari card through and through, but it's a full green card. It's more green than this card, than this card. This is a green-white card, more green than that card, more green than this card. This is full green, but yet go in Golgari decks because it has a black mana symbol right at the very bottom. Some people wish you can take that out, not use it, and just put it in a mono green deck, but that's not how color identity works, even in the new world. Here, another piece of confusion is this. This is color identity black, except for you see this Orzhov hybrid here, but it's in the reminder text. So they do not count reminder text in determining color identity. And the funny part is, this has confused me and other people at the table. So the reason they don't count this is you could legally print this card without any of its reminder text, and it would be black because the symbol is not there. That's the reason why, because reminder text doesn't count. So I've come up with some sample cards if we were to change the color identity. These cards do not exist. They're very complex cards. So I'm gonna put them right here. And so for the first example, I call it the mono green legend, but kind of. Cascos green, fully green colored card. It has an interesting activated ability. It has a Celestia hybrid, Simic hybrid, Golgari hybrid, and Gruul hybrid. You pay one of each, and then you scry 10. It's a made up card, but it could happen in the future. This card could very well happen. The question is, what's color identity of this card with new rules, right? I think when people talk about color identity, they use the easy cards like Kitchen Sphinx, but they don't go through the exercise of saying like, what cards can they build in the future that could just be so confusing to players in general. Essentially, the color identity of this card is mono green, any 2-color guild, any 3-color shard or wedge, any 4-color deck with green in it, a 5-color deck. So essentially, any commander deck with green can play this card, even mono green. So how about this legend? This is even more complex, and the color identity is even harder to determine. I call it mono green legend, but not. Cascos green, same as the previous one before, except it has 2 abilities. The first ability is Dimir hybrid, draw a card. And the second ability, Boros hybrid, gains first strike. Okay, has 2 abilities, 2 hybrid activations. You see all 5 colors on this card. So what's this card's color identity? So I bet you I looked at this card, even for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you're gonna have a hard time figuring this out, right? It's not mono green because it has 2 hybrid activations. It doesn't belong in any guild, so it has to have 3 colors. It belongs in 4 of the 6 wedges or shards that have green. It belongs in all 5-color decks, all 4-color decks and the 5-color decks. So this one, if you still haven't figured out which 3-color combination that belongs to, it belongs in Temur, Bant, Jund, and Abzan, but does not belong in Naya or Sultai. As you can see, this card is very confusing, color identity wise, with the new rule. This card doesn't exist, but it could exist. The problem is, players, it'll take a while. They see this card across the table and they're just like, okay, what's the guy's color identity? I don't know. I have to think about it. This card in this example is the reason why it's just not possible, because we can't limit Wizards' design space by having this rule that we might have to walk back because it's difficult. With the current rule, it's easy to see that, hey, this is a 5-color. That's it. Fits in one deck. No problem. We can move on with our lives. With the new rule, we have to think about it. Even writing my notes for this video, I really had to think about it and go through all the combinations in my head, and I had to illustrate it out to actually figure out which color identity this card belongs to. So again, with the new rule, you have to really think about it. And where the direction of the Commander's Rules Committee is, you want to make it easy, right? You look at some of these cards right here. This is black, Golgari, Celestia, Esper, Abzan. These cards go into the mono black deck, and this card goes into 5-color. Super easy. I'll give you one last illustration. So imagine this. We have a mono white commander. Linden. I know, super boring, but she has, whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. So we have this commander. Imagine this. If we do the new rule, this is just a subsection. All these cards, if you look at them, are white hybrid cards. All would be legal in this deck. This deck would have each 5 colors inside the deck. Can you really call this a mono white deck? Even though with the new rule, this would be totally legal, totally legit deck. But I mean, come on. This does not look aesthetically correct to you. So that is another reason why. It's just, this is not a mono white deck, is it? It's a 5-color deck, right? I have a green card, a blue card, a red card, a black card, and a white card. And then the interesting part is if you look at some of these lieges, right? Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. This is really meant for a white-blue deck, right? Even though it's like hybrid cost, it's just, it seemed like it was designed for a white-blue deck. Same for the other lieges, right? Red, white creatures, white, black creatures. The 5-color ones. So aesthetically, I'll show it to you again. That looks crazy, right? This is a mono white deck? No way. Anyways, that's my take on why this just cannot be done. And probably won't be done. Adds too much complexity. It aesthetically looks weird. I mean, come on, look at this. And as the guys from the command zone say, the juice is just really not worth the squeeze. I mean, look at that complexity I just added by changing that rule. It's just not worth it. Again, I'd like to hear your opinions. What do you think of the hybrid mana rule and commander? Would you change it, knowing what I've talked about today? Or would you keep it the same? Leave your answers in the comments below. Also, if you like my video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, please remember to hit that subscribe button. Again, thank you for listening. Have a good day.